One day while on a day trip, Sandra and I was visiting the Bunker Hill Covered Bridge in Catawba County. We noticed a peculiar looking symbol with a sign that read Carolina Thread Trail just underneath it. Now, being an avid hiker, I looked into it and learned that it was a regional network of connected greenways, trailways, and blueways that reaches 15 counties in 2 states, and that it was still growing with new trails being added. I had always wanted Sandra to hike with me and thought that this may be just the thing, so after looking at the website, we both set out to complete every single thread trail. So grab your gear and come along with us as we set out to hike or paddle every thread trail and learn with us about the history, the geology, and people of these areas. I'm sure there will never be a dull moment.
God, look at this. I thought there was a rock behind me.
Looks like this might be bear tracks. This paved 2.3-mile segment of the Carolina Thread Trail follows a southern route along the lower McAlpine Creek and underneath I-485 to Vista Guard Court before swinging back north along the McMullen Creek Greenway. From the Johnston Road trailhead, the Greenway also runs east along 4 Mile Creek. This network provides an excellent play to walk, run, and bike. These greenways run through a unique floodplain and wetland habitat. The first documented great blue heron rookery in Mecklenburg County was found nestled among the trees that now line the trail. The area also provides shelter to many other birds, including 2 colorful migratory species, the American redstart and the scarlet tanager. The length of the trail is 2.3 miles one way. The hours of operation are dawn to dusk. Okay, what I like to do is just define for you what a floodplain is. And this right here actually came from one of the kiosks that's on the trail. Now, a floodplain is an area along a stream or river that has collected soil and small particles that have washed downstream. The trees and other plants that grow in a floodplain trap these sediments and hold them in place. So that's the geology of this area where we are going to be hiking at, that you're going to see on the video. And so it's a real unusual area, very wet, and you'll see that kind of swampy in some areas depending on the rain in the previous days and weeks. But it's still a tremendous chance to be able to see some different types of geology in our areas. Now, if you'll look here on this map here, I got a lot going on as usual in these videos, but just want to point out some interesting things here. It just seems like every time we take a hike on a trail, we find new things that the area, that some trails do, that maybe another trail does not do. And this, if you look up here in the top left-hand corner where you see my mouse at, I've seen this on other trails before, where let's just say you're on the trail hiking and maybe you got an emergency for whatever reason it may be. You can call 911 and they're going to ask you where you're at on the trail, and you could tell them you're at the 2.0 mile marker, and you can actually tell them, it tells here what you'll want to tell them. Enter at the Vista Grande Court entrance, turn right. And so, and then that's where your location will be at. And so these are kind of peppered along the trail, and you'll see these from time to time. Now, where Sandra and I are doing our little selfie here, this is a wildlife watching area, and if you look on the map, you'll see these binoculars. That's where you'll see that, and there's 2 of these on this trail here. I thought it was really neat. You can sit around this little circle here, and they got some kiosks that tell you some different information, little different facts, about the wildlife and the geology. Now, if you look over to the right-hand side, you see the P for the parking. Now, what you'll want to do, now, what I made the mistake is I did not put the actual address of this trail. I didn't do that, and we went to a different area. It was a trail, but it was not the Carolina Thread Trail. So what I did is I put the actual address in my GPS, and it brought me to this address right here that you see over on the right-hand side. This is the actual parking lot. This is an overview picture of it, and so it's a pretty good-sized parking lot. They got a bathroom, and what if you'll notice at the bottom left-hand, well, I'll tell you what, we're actually going to go look at a different slide on this, and so because I want to point out some real interesting things that I saw in this parking lot that I think you're going to find interesting, especially for you bicyclists out there, or your cyclists out there. You're going to find that really neat. But at any rate, this is where you'll begin the hike, and then it's going to take you under Johnston Road, and then you're just going to keep right along, and then you're going to go right under I-85, and then you're going to go about 3/4 of a round. Just before you see I-85, that's where it stops at. And so, and we're going to look at a couple maps here because it can be quite confusing, and it was for us. And so, but these benches on the bottom right-hand corner, these benches here, those are peppered along the trail. And so Sandra and I, we call those our sit-downs. And so that's when we take our little breaks and have our little talks and stuff like that. We always enjoy our sit-downs. Now, this right here is an actual close-up of that parking lot, and you'll come in, and it's got a real nice parking lot, and they've got this sign here. I don't know if it's because they've had some problems with break-ins and stuff, but they just remind you, make sure you don't have valuables sitting around. You don't want anything where somebody could say, hey, look, and then break into your car and just take some. So make sure you protect either take your stuff with you or hide it. Don't leave it in plain view. But if you'll notice right here on the left-hand top of the screen, this right here is for cyclists. Now I am not a cyclist, so but what I'm gathering here, you can put your bicycle up here in this area, and they got all the tools, or most of the tools you're going to need to make any repairs or do any maintenance or things like that. And then they have something that you can put air in your tires. And so I thought that was very unusual. This has got to be probably the first trail I have ever seen anything like this on. They got a nice little cement pad for it, and this right here is, again, right beside of the restroom. And so for you people that like the bicycle, they do allow you to ride a bicycle on this trail, and we saw several people that did it. And so again, I thought that was really neat to see that. Now, this right here is in front of the bathroom. You've got 2 maps, and now this trail system connects to a bigger trail system. And so you definitely want to, what I like to do is download the maps, do like a screenshot of the map that I see online with the Carolina Thread Trail, and then any other maps that I see when I actually go to the place, I like to take a shot of that also. That way I got more. And I'm glad I did, and you'll see why here in just a little bit. But this right here is right in front of the restrooms. Now this right here, if you notice here, I took a picture of the map, and that's going to be on the left-hand side. That's what this looks like. Now, if you notice my mouse, this is where the parking lot's going to be, and this is where you're going to go at. If you see my mouse going to the right, that's the Carolina Thread Trail. That's where that starts at, and that's where that goes. This is a whole nother different trail system right here. And this is that other map. If you see, I got it squared off in white. This right here is the better map that you'll want to take with you when you do the Carolina Thread Trail. And again, if you notice my mouse, this is where you're going to be parking at, and you're just going to go right around here. And so it's very key. Remember that. Make sure you note this key right here, because that's going to come into play. Now what I did is I got it zoomed on this key. Now, if you'll notice, the Carolina Thread Trail on the map is white, and it appears to have gold or yellow lines running along the trail. So when you'll actually see those lines going across the trail. So let's go back to that. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll just stay on this one right here. If you'll notice, this will go, and then it stops. It stops about in the middle of the trail. Now this right here is I-485. You will go under it one time, just one time. If you go under it twice, you've gone too far. And so, but this map here that's actually at the park, I was a little confused because the Carolina Thread Trail map online showed the trail going a little bit further than what they're showing here. And so this right here is a screenshot of the Carolina Thread Trail map that you'll see online. Now the park map shows you stopping right here in this area where it has the trailhead markers. Right here is where it shows you stopping at. Where you got 485, and it shows you stopping about midway between that horseshoe going back underneath it. Now Sandra knew that we had walked a good little ways, so what she did is she stopped about right here, and so I thought it went further, and so I kept going, and I ended up walking all the way down to 485 again, and then I ended up eyeballing the maps and saw that I had walked too far. And so, but where you see it end right about here, that's about where you're going to go halfway between you're going to go almost to I-485. Personally, me, if I was the one hiking this, I would just take it to I-485 and then just backtrack right on back. You're not far from I-85 when you see this area here, maybe 3/4 of a mile. And so I personally would just go ahead and just hike the thing and just challenge yourself a little bit more. But that trail does continue on and goes right under I-85, and there's another parking area out in this area. So for what it's worth, just want to point that out there. But then again, guys, this is an outstanding trail. Really unusual. I would shy away from it after a rainy season because when we were out there, it was quite muddy and on certain parts of the trail. And there was water standing on some of the boardwalks that we saw. But you'll see that in the video. But guys, let's go ahead and let you see what we saw. Now this trail that we're hiking on is a floodplain, plain. So pretty much where the creeks would overflow, these areas would hold the water. And so it doesn't, start eroding and going up towards people's homes and destroying them and all. But right here, you can see this little small creek here. But you can see where evidently at one point in time here recently, because we had some pretty good rains here about let's say a month ago, close to a month ago, we had some major storms come through. But you can see where this grass is laying flat, where there was a tremendous amount of water that came through here. But where did it go? It went to the floodplain. And so all out through here, you can see that. Y'all can see that? That grass going in one direction where it was just laid down. And so really neat. But all this right here is a floodplain. And even where this wood is right here, they have little slats going here and there where the water can empty out. And so I can only imagine in the summertime, I bet this place is just ate up with mosquitoes. And so that would be a horrible time to come hiking. Right in front of us, there's a doe. I don't know if the camera is going to pick it up or not. It's right in the middle of the screen.
Yeah, she's looking right
It's
at
looking straight at us. Now it looked away. I'm gonna try to walk just a little bit closer. Yeah, it's looking straight at us.
Take a video of it and post it on Facebook? No. Yeah.
Oh, that is so neat, so pretty. And this isn't like a national forest or something like that, so this is more in the wild. And so,
Here, I'm gonna do a video for Facebook.
but at any rate, it's just sitting there eating. It appears to be by itself. And right behind us here
It's right.
is some houses. And so this trail here, this trail system, is right behind people's houses. But it's really neat. It's just sitting there. It's just sitting there eating, looking at us. Really neat to see that. See the wildlife on these thread trails. Oh, there's another one. Just poked its head up. Who knows? I guess there is more of them. There could be more of them down in there. This tree right here, we're headed back to the parking lot. This thing is massive. I mean, massive. That's my hand. I don't know if I try to get some type of scale to it. It's gigantic. I mean, this tree is just absolutely just a massive tree. It's got to be the biggest one I've seen on this trail so far. I mean, I'm sure there's some, that one's close. Right here, that one's close. But oh my goodness. That thing is just unbelievable. To hear that thing come roaring down, crashing. Okay, we've made it back to the parking lot. There's the restroom right there. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please check out this trail. It's really nice. It is a floodplain, so personally, me, I would avoid this area during the rainy season or right after a hard rain. You're going to get into a lot of mud. But other than that, guys, please look out for more videos and definitely check out the Lower McAlpine Trail or Greenway. Take care. Bye-bye.